tomorrow. Now, when we talk about voter turnout and elections in the United States, ever since the 2020 election, certain actors have been sowing doubt in the integrity of our elections. And I know you've been doing a lot of work with Democracy Forward to assure the public of the safety and security and integrity of our elections. Can you talk about what questions you're getting right now from the American public about how accurate and safe and reliable our election will be tomorrow?
Well, we certainly know that there are actors that are seeking to sow misinformation and confusion. But what's important to remember is that in this country, voting is sacred and every vote counts, and we're going to ensure that every vote is counted. There have been studies for some time over a course of years. There has never been increased instances or large instances of voter fraud in the United States. There is not a concern around election integrity in the United States. And it's important that we call those types of allegations what they are, which is misinformation seeking to undermine people's participation in the electoral process, and that everyone exercise their right to vote. The federal government has taken a number of steps to ensure the safety and security of our elections. And we really want to encourage everyone to continue to exercise their rights as Americans to make their voices heard.
I just want to underline something you just said. So, over the course of history, you said there's never been documented voter fraud. Is that correct?
Certainly over the course of the last few decades. And then when you look at the last few years where you've had certain actors seeking to sow doubt in our election process, there have not been demonstrated instances of widespread voter fraud. In 2017, when former President Trump sought to make a case for voter fraud because he was upset at that point that he had lost the popular vote, even though he had won the Electoral College, he set up a commission known as the Pence-Kobach Voter Commission. It was an unlawful commission, and they had to disband that commission halfway through it in the face of litigation pressure in 2017. But guess what? Even that commission found no demonstrated instances of voter fraud, because this is not actually something that we have to be concerned about in 2024 or in 2027 or in 2020 in American life. What we do need to be concerned about are increased instances of misinformation and people trying to prohibit the American people or deter the American people from making their voice heard in a critical election year.
What might that look like tomorrow on election day in terms of people, bad actors, deterring people from voting or otherwise trying to interfere? And part two of that question is, what should someone do if they are at a polling place and they see an act of voter intimidation or misinformation?
There are resources. You can go to democracyforward.org and find resources where if you have a concern on election day, you can reach out to the voter protection hotlines that are available and resources that are available throughout the country to help you make your voice heard. What we do expect that we may see is the former president seeking to potentially declare victory early or try to make some moves before votes are counted. It's important that the American people know that in this year, we think it is unlikely that the final results are going to be known on election night, particularly in very large counties throughout the country. Votes have to be counted, and it takes a while to count those votes, particularly when the polls are open until the evening. And so we want to make sure that people are patient, that we are all following our duties as Americans to make our voices heard through voting, and then to wait for those votes to be counted.